Welcome to the League of Nerds comic book segment number 21. I'm John Cooney, here to talk to you about comics released the 27th of June, 2012. And based on last week's response, I'm going to try and incorporate a little more opinion while I review comics that are released this week. Starting off with DC's Batman Incorporated number 2. I know there's been a bit of opinion expressed among the League of Nerds about Grant Morrison's take on Batman and Batman Incorporated, but number 2, we're going to continue with the story of Batman and Talia fighting over their child Damian, and see what interesting family dynamics you get in that situation. In Batman The Dark Knight number 10, we got a new series writer, Greg Hurwitz, kicking off a new story, pitting Batman against his most deadly version of the Scarecrow. And before Watchmen, Nite number 1 out this week, we've got J. Michael Straczynski taking on Nite Owl. And again, I think they've done another good job of matching a well-known writer with a character that he can develop in a way that's consistent with the background that's been established. Now, we've seen this fail before, frankly, but so far they've done a good job with the assignments that they've made with Darwin Cook and with Brian Azzarello, and I like J. Michael Straczynski as a fit for Nite Owl. Of course, I liked Frank Miller and Jim Lee teaming up for Batman All-Star, and I gotta say, that was a disappointing book. We've also got Justice League number 10, The Villain's Journey, Part 2, where the identity of the Justice League's newest and deadliest foe is revealed. And we've got Part 4 of the Shazam backup, which I've really been enjoying. It's been a good complement to the Justice League book. We've got Superman number 10, continuing the story with Superman's newest foe, who can't be touched, and she's found a way to hurt both the Man of Steel and Clark Kent. And I've really been enjoying these Superman books under the New 52 reboot. We've got Teen Titans number 10, continuing with the storyline from the Culling crossover. We'll learn what Solstice learned from the Legion lost during the Culling, and that has something to do with the mystery of Kid Flash's origin. I really like Teen Titans in the way that they've tied some books together with Superboy, Teen Titans, Legion Lost, and the Culling, and then the spin-off into Ravagers. I like this little micro universe that they've created among the Teen Titans and those other books. From Marvel this week, we've got Amazing Spider-Man 688, just in time for the Amazing Spider-Man movie release. We've got the Lizard reappearing in the comic books when Morbius the Living Vampire attempts to cure the Lizard and restore Kirk Connors. We've got Incredible Hulk number 10, continuing the Stay Angry story. This is part 3 as we continue to see the angriest Hulk yet. And what I like with Incredible Hulk, and you can see a little bit of it in the Avengers movie, but what I like with Incredible Hulk is it's more of a psychological story about a split personality, and you can really see that in the Hulk comics better than you got to see it in the Avengers movie or in any of the previous Hulk movies. We've got Spider-Man number 2. This is the controversial crossover between the Marvel Universe proper, that's 616, and the Ultimate Universe. Peter Parker and Miles Morales exploring their connection in this reality-bending crossover where the Amazing Spider-Man meets Ultimate Spider-Man. And there's the reason why I call this controversial is back in the day when Ultimate comics were first getting started, they suggested, Joe Quesada said that there would not be a crossover between the two universes, and if that ever occurred, then that meant that they had run out of ideas. I don't think necessarily that they've run out of ideas. This is an interesting story, and it's something worth exploring. And as long as it is a story worth telling, then the people will buy it, and that doesn't mean that there aren't other stories still yet to be told. We've got Ultimate Comics Ultimates number 12. Reed Richards is the world's most wanted. Now, here's my complaint with Ultimate Comics right now, is they've just got 3 books, 4 if you count this Spider-Man, but they've got Ultimate Comics Spider-Man, Ultimate Comics X-Men, and Ultimate Comics Ultimates. And all 3 books are occurring in what is supposed to be a combined universe, and yet there are so many drastic and dramatic storylines occurring that would have so much impact in any of the other comic books continuity, and yet no impact is being felt across the books. and I'm trying not to reveal what some of these drastic and dramatic story points are, but believe me, they are universally impacting, and it's impossible to believe that something can occur on that scale and magnitude in one book without having a ripple into the other books, and I'm disappointed they aren't doing a better job of demonstrating that continuity. We've got Wolverine in the X-Men number 12. This is another Avengers vs. X-Men tie-in as Kid Gladiator goes up against the Avengers single-handedly. I like Wolverine in the X-Men. It's been a good book. It's had its share of humor and conflict, and demonstrates the academic side of trying to educate this new generation of mutants, and it's been an interesting glimpse into the challenges that presents. We've got X-Men number 31. This continues Brian Wood's new take on the X-Men with the new race of mutants, and I like what Brian Wood is doing with this series so far after one issue, and I'm interested in seeing where he's taking it. And I like having a book that's occurring outside of this massive Avengers vs. X-Men storyline because it kind of gives us a break from that conflict and gives us a chance to focus on some of these characters. We've got XMen Legacy number 269 now. This is a book that I do like tying into the Avengers vs. X-Men. In this book, we're going to see Rogue versus Ms. Marvel. It's hard to think of an X-Men pairing of characters that have more conflict than Rogue and Ms. Marvel, except for maybe Logan and Sabretooth. But it's going to be it's a conflict I'm looking forward to seeing. From Image Comics this week, we've got Fatale number 6 by Ed Brubaker. This is a second arc of the Fatale series, and it shows in modern times Nicholas Lash hunting for more information about the mysterious Josephine, while back in the mid-70s, Los Angeles, Joe is trying to establish a new life. I like this book. It's a dark noir-style crime horror book, and it's the first arc was entertaining. I'm interested in seeing what they do in the second arc. We've got Manhattan Projects number 4 by Jonathan Hickman. This book takes a look at the darker side of science history, exploring the possibility of secretive scientists doing some sinister work. You can kind of think of it as Fringe gone bad. Issue number 4 focuses on the life and death of Albert Einstein. We've got Mind the Gap number 2. Last issue's 3 cliffhangers are answered here, but they lead to more questions surrounding the attack on Ellie Peterson. This is a book kind of similar to Morning Glories that has kind of a feel to it, that it's got some mysterious elements to it that make you want to try to understand or figure out some things that you think you can catch between the panels and in clues and hidden clues that are in the book, and it's really engaging in a book that I'm looking forward to. For trades out this week, we've got X-Men Schism trade paperback out, collecting X-Men Schism 1 to 5 and X-Men Regenesis. I touched on this in last week's segment, and what I like about this is it represents 2 different schools of thought within the X-Men and how they should proceed given the events that have divided them. And it's interesting that neither is portrayed as necessarily right or wrong, just in differences that we see between Scott, or Cyclops, who wants to prepare and defend the mutant population through more militant and heroic action, versus Wolverine's take that wants to prepare this next generation through education, similar to the original school of thought of the Xavier Institute. We see this division occur, and we'll see who takes sides with who and what impact that'll have on the X-Men. Well, that's it for me this week. A lot of great books, plenty more that I didn't get to talk about. So be sure to check with your local comic book store for books that you're interested in, and check in on my comic book blog, he'sgotissues.com, to see what I'm reading and to share with me what you're reading. Until next week, I'm John Cooney, and I've got issues.